Hi, good morning guys. If you don't know me or if you follow this page but we haven't talked before, I wanted to take a minute and introduce myself to you and tell you a little bit more of my story, why I do what I do, how I got into coaching, and what exactly motivates me to show up every day and do this. So my name is Amanda and I am a busy mother of two. You'll hear me say that a lot. And my kids are my everything. So everything I do always ties back to them. If you follow my videos on YouTube or my social media, you'll see lots of pictures of us cooking, doing activities, and generally just gratuitous pictures of my kids because frankly, they're my life. And I am also the wife to Daryl. He is a plumber and a hard worker himself. And we live in Spokane, Washington. But my coaching business has allowed me to connect with people all over the country, in Canada, and now also in the UK. We just opened coaching in the United Kingdom, which is super exciting. So I am looking forward to meeting new team-driven coaches across the pond who want to become part of our amazing team. But my life wasn't always this. If you follow me, this kitchen looks familiar. I didn't have this. I didn't have this home we live in. I didn't have a lot of things. And I still had a good life, but I was in a dark place. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit and just share that with you. When my husband and I got married, his father was very sick. He had terminal cancer. He was working full-time with a port, getting his chemo. My husband was working for him for free during the day to try and help him finish jobs he needed to finish before his time here was up or before he got too sick to be able to finish them. So financially, we were in a really bad place because as a certified nursing assistant, a CNA working nights, I didn't have a very high salary. It's not the most high-paying job in the world. You definitely don't do it for the money. You do it for being able to help other people, and that's kind of one of the reasons I love coaching, because it's another way for me to do that. And instead of taking care of people once it's too late, in this job I'm able to help them before their health problems get out of control, or help them come back from being too far gone on the health wagon, I guess, where the ramifications of diet and exercise have impacted their life so poorly that they're on diabetes medication, blood pressure medication, all of that stuff. I see those impacts every day in my life working in healthcare, which I still do full-time at night. But during the day, besides being a busy mom, I'm also a full-time health and fitness coach online, and I love it. And there's so many reasons. I can't even get into it, but mostly it starts with where I started. I was over 250 pounds. I was depressed. My husband's depressed after losing his father. And then we thought everything was kind of starting to look up. Our grief had started to subside a little bit. Daryl was starting to work again. And then we got good, happy news that we were expecting a child. And that would be our second baby. And we were elated. And we started making plans. And I started just being excited for the future and hoping something positive had finally come into our life. And at about 7 months along, I ended up going into labor and losing that baby, which was the hardest, most difficult thing I've ever been through. Pause and breathe. Sorry. The more I share about it, the easier it gets to talk about, but it still kind of cuts me to the quick every time. So after losing our son, Michael, I went into a very deep, dark place. I didn't feel like I had any motivation for anything. I wasn't the mom I wanted to be or always dreamed of being to the daughter I did have, Olivia, because I was so depressed. I couldn't seem to claw my way out of it. And my life just wasn't what I had hoped it would be. Bill collectors were calling all the time. I felt like they were stalking me. I couldn't get ahead no matter how much I worked. I had to take a shift 48 hours after losing our son because my work didn't allow me to take time off for that. And I wasn't able to grieve, and I wasn't able to move forward, and I wasn't able to be healthy. I just wasn't, it was just not good. Enough about that. After that loss and being so deep in that depression, I shut down. I was angry with everyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone else. I didn't want to share about it. I didn't want to tell anyone. I felt like a failure as a wife and a mother. I blamed myself, even though there was nothing I could have done to change it. And I just basically was emotionally devastated. I didn't feel like I had anything to live for, except, of course, my daughter. And I hate to admit it, but I was so close to losing my life, taking my own life, because I just felt like I didn't deserve to be here and everyone would be better if I was gone. It's hard still to say that out loud. But what happened from that loss was that my whole life ended up changing. At one point, when my daughter was almost 3, about 2.5, she came up to me like little kids do and got right in my face. She was just playing on the floor and I was lying on the couch doing nothing, because that's what I did during the day until I went back to work at night. And she got right up in my face and she put her little hands on my cheeks. And she looked me dead in the eye and she said, "Are you happy, Mommy?" And that was my rock bottom moment right there. I had always dreamed of being the mother who never lied to her kid and had a relationship on honesty, and I never wanted to be anything less than honest with her. But I couldn't look at my little girl and tell her that. And I also knew that the only reason she would ask me that at 2.5 years old was because she could tell I wasn't happy. Otherwise, she wouldn't even think to ask that question. And that was the moment that my life changed. I knew that if I didn't want to lie to her and I didn't want that to be my reality, then I needed to change what my reality was. So I decided that I had no control over all the stuff that was happening in my life, from losing my father, my husband being depressed, us losing our child, the debt we were in. I couldn't change my salary. I couldn't work any more than all the time, which I was already working. And I didn't want to get a second job because I didn't want to be an absentee mother. So I just decided the only thing I could control was how depressed I felt about my body and my physical life, how out of shape I felt, how I was in pain every day when I got out of bed. I have scoliosis and my back would hurt so bad every day that I would literally like levitate out of bed because everything hurt. I had bad knees from playing sports all through school and being a catcher, and my knees ached every night at work. The bottom of my feet hurt. I was probably on the road to plantar fasciitis, that extra 100 pounds my frame didn't need without the strength to carry it. And I just had no light anywhere in my life, I felt like. And I needed to change that. So that was my last ditch effort. I decided I can't control any of that, but I can work on how I feel about this. I can work on the fact that every time I want to put on clothes on, I don't have anything that makes me feel good or that fits. And that I get out of breath just going downstairs and coming back up to do laundry. And I knew that my family and I deserved better than that. So what I did was, a girl at work was doing Insanity, and she was almost done, and she was looking great, and she was happy, and she would come to work, and she would talk about how good she felt, and I said, "Hey, when you're done with that, can I borrow it?" And I'm sure it sounded ridiculous coming from someone who is 250 pounds, but she said yes, that she would lend it to me. And so I kind of put all my hope in that basket. And one day she brought it to me at work, and I was excited to get started. And I came home and I put a little date on the calendar and I circled it and said, okay, I'm starting this on Monday. And on Saturday, before I started, we found out that we were pregnant again. So at this point, instead of being elated, I was kind of terrified, because since we had lost our son and there was nothing I could do about that, I had no control of that, I didn't cause it, I had no way to prevent it from happening, I was kind of grateful yet terrified. I had been so angry with God, and now he was giving me this, and I almost wondered if it was a trick or a punishment, or if it was going to get taken from me again. And I had a lot of anxiety over that. and this pattern of depression and anxiety just had started to become a regular part of my life. It seemed like the only way to live. So I took insanity back to Mia, the girl at work, and I said, we're having a baby, hopefully, and when I'm done, can I please borrow this? Will you save it for me? And she said, of course. So I started focusing on doing a little bit of prenatal yoga at home. They say that when you're pregnant, you can keep up whatever healthy level of exercise you already have. And of course, mine was 0. So I did some light yoga, and I really focused on starting to bring in better foods into the house. Just little changes, little substitutes like whole grain breads for white breads, and almond flour instead of coconut flour, baking less, or eating a more reasonable plate of food rather than, I still eat pasta even now. But instead of my whole plate being pasta, like 3/4 of it's vegetables and 1/4 of it's pasta. So I still enjoy it and I still get to eat it. I just have to be a little more reasonable. But those portion sizes and the amounts of foods and the types of foods started to get a little healthier. I started buying more fruits and vegetables and actually eating them, not just putting them around my house to make me feel better and then throwing them out when they went bad. By the time I had my son, I was 234 pounds. And at 4 weeks postpartum, and I had made a lot of changes, just little small things, but they added up over time through my pregnancy, and I was ready to start. But I knew that if I didn't start right away, at 4 weeks, I felt like I was getting farther and farther away from the motivation of starting. And I also was nursing my son, and so I was holding the baby at night, breastfeeding, and eating these giant Costco pumpkin muffins, and crumbs would fall on his head, and I was ravenously eating, and I could just see this was going nowhere good. So I called Mia up, and I said, hey, will you bring that to work? I'm ready to start. And she did, and the rest is history. I started doing insanity at that insane weight, but I was able to modify everything. And I just did what I could. I sweated and huffed and puffed through it until I got to where I thought that I could do a little more, and I would. I sometimes had to collapse on the floor. I sometimes had to like huff and puff, and I would have the reddest face, and I would be pouring sweat. I would scream at my husband that he wasn't allowed to be in the house, and I took my before photos with a timer on my laptop because I wouldn't even let my husband see me in my sports bra and underwear for my before photos because I was so humiliated over how I had let myself become. And I was never small before, but I wouldn't say that I was trim and toned by any means. I was just kind of sturdy or whatever, and I used to tell myself, you're built this way, or this is the body you have. I was probably a 14, 16, I think, in my senior year of high school. And it's funny how when we get older, we are so critical of ourselves at that young age, but when we get older, we would kill for the body we used to have. That's kind of how I felt. So by the end of the insanity as a 60-day program, and I sweated my way through that, and I don't think I was able to not modify anything by the end. I was still modifying, but at the end of that 60 days, I had lost 35 pounds. And I already knew what I wanted to do next because I was back at work and I was running short on time in the day. But I had fallen in love with Sean T and the way he motivated and like would reach through that screen and look me dead in the eye and talk right to my face. I had fallen in love with him, and so I wanted to do a new program he had released called T25 because it was the same trainer but 25 minutes a day. And I couldn't afford a gym, and I couldn't take a newborn to the gym if I wanted to, and I couldn't go back and forth. I tried that before I even had a second child. I tried it when Olivia was a baby. And you would have to clear 3 hours of your morning between getting there, checking her into the childcare, getting home, not to mention your actual workout. If she would poop her diaper, they would come get you out. If she needed to change, they would come get you out. If she cried too much, they would come get you out of your workout. And it just would take up your whole morning. And I paid so much for it. And if I didn't get there enough, I didn't feel like I was getting my money's worth. So I went diligently every day. And after losing the first 6 or 8 pounds, I kind of flatlined and I didn't have any results. So I gave up on that years ago. So adding a second child, going to the gym wasn't really the answer for me. So doing this insanity at home was great. I lost 35 pounds and I moved into T25, which is a 10-week program. And by the end of that, I lost another 25 pounds. So then I was about 60 pounds down and feeling really good. And I had been sharing all along on social media my journey along the way. Just for extra accountability, just to tell people what I was doing, because I didn't want to let myself back out of it. And so I would do a sweaty selfie and say, I just finished this workout. And no one would say good job. No one would comment. No one would anything. But by the end of that program, I felt so proud of myself. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I had done something really good, and I had done something to be proud of, and that I felt good about telling people I had done something hard. I had done something that I didn't think I could do, and I wanted people to know that. I wanted people to know that as negative and down and depressed and overweight, I was morbidly obese. I had health risks from that. And no matter where you start, you can do it if you just believe in yourself. You don't even have to believe in yourself 24 hours a day. You just have to believe in yourself for that 40 minutes or so. So I took all the courage I had in the world, and I posted my before and after picture online, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. People were asking what I did. People were asking, even before the before and after, people were asking, saying, hey, you look great, or you seem so much happier. What are you doing differently? A lot of people would say, you seem like a different person. What changed in your life? And I still had the same job. I had the same husband. I had the same dead child. I had the same passed away father-in-law. I had the same financial struggles. The only thing that had changed was that I was taking that 40 minutes a day to take care of myself. That was it. So I started sharing about that and telling people what I was doing, and they started wanting to do it too. Either that program or another program. And at some point, my coach had asked me about coaching and told me I could inspire people, but I didn't believe her. I thought, I'm still so overweight. I'm still 190 pounds. Nobody's going to be inspired by this. I am not a personal trainer. I am not a cook. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just an overweight mom trying to feel better. I'm still struggling with depression so much. It just wasn't for me. And I told her that. And she asked me again every once in a while. And every once in a while I would just say, no, it's just not for me. And I believed that 100%. And then somebody reached out and said, hey, I want to do what you're doing. I want to order the shake you drink every day that makes you feel so good, that it gives you all that energy. And I want to do a workout program like what you're doing. Can you tell me how to get it? And I was like, yeah, I think I can. I think I can help you get it. And I did. And that was the day I became a coach, March 15th, 2014. And I started coaching, and my life just dominoed from there. Within weeks, I earned back what I had invested in my own fitness and nutrition. And I was just thrilled to be able to be helping someone else start their journey. So I started forming support groups on Facebook. Now we also have an independent app that doesn't even require Facebook, Instagram, or anything. It's just an app on your phone that functions as an online challenge group that's private. We can share our successes, our failures. We can check in on workouts. I can share motivation with people. I can share my struggles, what I'm doing. I can check in with them on their journey and what they're doing. I can help hold them accountable by seeing their daily posts. They can hold themselves accountable, which is really what this journey is all about. And I can come online with you guys and share recipes that I cook in this kitchen, which you've seen a million times. I can share my journey with my kids and my family, and how much better I feel today. And that's really all I do as a coach. I share with others what I'm doing, and I share the journey the whole way. If you've ever thought about coaching, don't count yourself out. Because here's the thing, it's not having the perfect body that's inspiring, because I promise you I don't have it. I still have extra skin. I still have thunder thighs and saddlebags and stretch marks and everything else moms often have. And people who have lost 100 pounds. I'm not going to ever have a perfectly shredded everything. But I'm on a journey to be my best self, and to feel healthy, and to share that with my family, and to do my best to help other people live happier, healthier lives. And this is the way I know how to do it, so this is what I share. And in doing that, I've connected with some of the most amazing people on my team above me, and the people that I have brought in with me to do this journey with me. I love and cherish my relationships with all of them. They're a ray of sunshine in my life. If you ever feel bad about your day, you can come into our coach page and you can say, hey, to our team, I'm struggling today, here's how I feel. Or you can ask for encouragement or motivation, and there will be someone there for you. And that matters so much to me. That's a community and a culture that I've helped create for this team that I'm a part of, that has helped me on my journey and saved my life. And so sharing that with other people means the world to me. I might help 1 million people before I'm done with this, and I might help just the couple thousand I've already helped. But it doesn't matter to me, because the one person I've helped, that's all I focus on. The one today, the one yesterday, the very first one, the one that quit but came back, the one that stopped and then started, the one person at home that hasn't started yet, like me, who feels like I used to feel, that's sad like I used to be, that feels lost like I used to feel lost, that's depressed like I used to feel, and sometimes still struggle with now. That one person, that person who needs this family and this community, that person who's looking for extra income, that person who wants to build a business their family can be proud of, that's who I'm looking for on my team. That's the person I talk to when I talk to you guys. The person who needs to know that it's possible, that good things are possible, that there's a way out, that you can change your whole life with fitness and nutrition, that you deserve to take care of yourself, that it matters. It freaking matters that you are happy too. It doesn't matter if you're the nurse or the nursing assistant at the hospital that's uncared for and takes care of everyone else. It doesn't matter if you're the mom that takes care of her kids before everyone else and puts yourself on the back burner. You've got to change that. Even if it's just a half-hour workout a day and making yourself a good breakfast. That is a huge start. And that's really, literally all I changed in the very beginning. Before people started sending me those messages asking what's different about you. It wasn't, hey, I want to look like you look. Tell me how to do that. It was, hey, what are you doing? You seem so much happier and healthier. And that is what this is all about. So if this sounds like you or something you want to do, reach out to me. I would love to have you on our team. We're not the top team in the company. We're not the biggest team in the company. But guess what that means? That we have time for each other. We have time to connect. We interact personally. We train together. We support each other. Whether we're ready to start or we just want to jog or walk slowly and dip a toe in. Whether you're like me and the day that you decide, you dive in full force. I'm there for you for that, and so is the rest of the team. It's an amazing community. It's a life-changing opportunity, and it brings me joy and purpose, and I am thrilled to share it with everyone. So I will post the link below this video. You can fill out if you're interested in coaching. I want you to check it out, and if you just want to talk or have a phone call, see if it's something that's up your alley, I hope you will. Everybody's story is different. Yours might not be 100 pounds that you lose. Yours might be feeling better in the morning when you wake up. Yours might be lowering a medication. Yours might be connecting with a family member that you weren't able to connect with before because you're connecting over fitness. Yours might be setting a better example for your children than you are right now. Yours might just be sleeping better at night. Did you know that if you lose 15 pounds, you can lessen your risk of heart disease over 100 times, and that you can completely eradicate sleep apnea if you have it? The benefits are endless, and over 70% of the diseases we have in this country are directly result of obesity. And I was one of those people, so I feel 100% confident in telling you that that is fine if that's how you want to live, but I promise you this feels better. That's the simple truth. So if you want a step-by-step system to getting your health back on track, I'm happy to help you with that. And if you want to try and inspire people and motivate people and have people join you along the way, I would love to talk to you more about it. I hope that sharing this story with you and my little pieces of struggle and triumph inspire you in some way and let you know that whatever you choose for your journey, everything is possible.